Hey everybody, welcome to Cheap Comic Collector. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're doing another What Am I Reading episode. And it's going to be with a little bit of Batman. And we're doing Arkham Manor. First 4 issues of Arkham Manor. And these are from 2014, so not too long ago. This is the first 4 issues. There was actually 6 issues, and then a follow-up that was called Arkham Manor Endgame. I only have the first 4 issues, and apparently, and I didn't know this, this spun out of the Batman Eternal series that I just went over not too long ago. You can see on the cover here where they crossed out Wayne Manor and put in Arkham Manor. So this is when the villains were being housed in Wayne Manor after Arkham got destroyed during the Batman Eternal series. So yeah, this was pretty good. It's different. The art style's a little different. The story's a little bit different. It's just a little bit different. It's off the beaten track. Basically, it starts off with the talking about the Arkham getting destroyed and the villains being housed in Wayne Manor, and the big splash page here is them basically just having construction workers go into the house, which actually plays into the series. It seems like a silly splash panel. But one of these guys, and I assume it's this guy, is actually the main bad guy of the series. So it was written by Gary Dugan, art by Sean Crystal, inks by Dave McCaig. And there's actually an editor's note here saying it takes place after Batman Eternal number 30. So kudos to the editor, Mark Doyle. He seems to know what he's doing. There's an introductory sequence where it tells what's going on, but you don't have to have read Batman Eternal to understand the story. Anyway, it shows them putting it together. This is actually Batman. And because of the art style, I wasn't sure at first if this was Batman, just because he looks a little bit different. But that's just the art style. And the first issue here is just kind of a whole introductory to the status quo, where Batman's living in an apartment, instead of Wayne Manor. Talks about how the Batcave was sealed off from the manor, so the villains can't access it. And but there's somebody's murdering the inmates in Wayne Manor while they're there. So the place has been retrofitted. They're keeping Mr. Freeze in the freezer, and but something is killing the inmates, and so Batman assumes this new identity of Jack Shaw to go undercover at Arkham to find out what's going on. And that was the end of the first issue. Second issue, the investigation begins. This is it actually talks about the one inmate, this new inmate that they have, and he thinks he's already dead because he was buried alive in the Arkham destruction. And yeah, there's a little sequence where they have like a therapy session, and Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow, is there. Mr. Freeze is there through a monitor because he's in the freezer. Because I guess that's the only place cold enough to keep him. And there's other villains there that, because of the art style, I'm not entirely sure who they are. I don't know if they're just supposed to be random characters or if they're supposed to be somebody. Some of them look like they're supposed to be somebody, but I'm not sure. So Batman, in his new identity, is basically investigating, and another inmate gets killed, and he realizes that whoever's doing it is like living in the walls of the manor. And that it's somebody he hasn't fought before. So, I mean, it's kind of a mystery. You think that it's leading up to, it's supposed to be somebody, you know, that you're supposed to be able to figure out who it is. But it's actually just one of those workmen that came in when they were constructing on the manor to turn it into the asylum. So that was kind of a letdown a little bit, because I thought there was going to be a big reveal, and there wasn't. But other than that, the rating's pretty good. It's a decent story. Probably reads a little bit better as a trade paperback or a graphic novel than it does as a ongoing series. There's not really enough going on to hold the interest for that long. Otherwise, and yeah, I'm not really. They do find Zax has disappeared, so they find him. He's barely alive, so they're taking him to the hospital because he was tortured by the guy that lives in the walls. And the guy that lives in the walls is just, I mean, he's a homicidal maniac, but he isn't anybody, you know, that you've ever heard of. So, and they introduced this character called Clownface, who apparently is some sort of Clayface remnant from something. They didn't quite really explain it. And number 4, which is the last issue I have. So I didn't get to finish the series. I did, well, that's not true. I looked it up online, so I did finish issues 5 and 6. That's how I knew who the guy in the wall was. And there's one inmate in here that's happy because he thinks the Joker knows who he is. It never really shows the Joker in any of this, as far as I can tell. There's something wrong with the doctor that's in charge, where he doesn't seem like he's that stable. The freezer gets wrecked, and so they let Mr. Freeze outside. And there's some humor there, because as you go through the series, the rest of the series, the next couple issues, it shows him outside, and he builds himself an igloo, and so he's living outside and barbecuing out in the cold and stuff. And that's pretty much it. Nothing major going on. It was a decent story, but that's all it was. It was a decent story. The art was unusual, but kind of fit the story with the inmates and so forth. So, and that's all there is. That's all I got. So it wasn't as profound as I was expecting, really, especially after I saw that it spinned out of the Batman Eternal. I was expecting a little bit more from it, but it was a decent story, and it was a fun read. It was a little bit creepy, and so it was fun. I wouldn't mind getting the last couple of issues, so I have a complete set. So, and then I would guess that the Arkham Manor Endgame one shot that takes place after this series kind of wraps it up, where they're no longer in the manor, if they're even moved back to Arkham Asylum or whatever. I don't really know. I didn't read it. I'm just guessing, but anyway, it was a little bit of a fun read. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. We drop a new video every day at noon, and please like and subscribe if you like this sort of content. We do more all the time, and we're doing our best to keep it going. So thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.